You're listening to KEHR, 50,000 watts, broadcasting worldwide from sunny Southern California. ExtremeHealthRadio.com. This is Chief BioPappy signing off. Over and out.
G'day, this is Joe Cross from the movie Fat, Sick and Nearly Dead and from RebootWithJoe.com. I'm on Extreme Health Radio with Justin and Kate, and we are juicing up the world.
With all the advances in medical technology today, the key to longevity may be as simple as vitamin C. Discover the power of lipospheric vitamin C at extremehealthradio.com/vitamin C. Are you ready to feel younger and healthier? Harness the healing power of the C. Take control of your health and visit extremehealthradio.com/C, S-E-A, and use the coupon code JUSTIN, J-U-S-T-I-N, and get 20% off. Discover the secret to eternal youth.
Hola, peeps.
Hola, 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 Kate.
Hola, Jay.
¿Cómo estás?
Bien, me too.
I didn't know we're bringing out our Spanish today.
With what little we know how to speak.
Oh my gosh, this is awesome. This is our 300th show. Do you realize that?
I'm shocked.
Isn't that amazing?
This is awesome.
300
and you know what?
shows. It's crazy.
It's perfect because this is the last page in this notebook.
I know, right?
The very last page.
Yeah, in the notebook that we take notes in. Yeah.
Yep. So that was meant to be, to end on a big number and start a new one on Monday.
I know. I love it. I love it.
Great.
I love it. Episode 300.
Yeah.
What a day. What a day. What's the date today?
Friday. Woohoo!
Friday. What is it?
August.
April 15th? Tax day?
Oh my goodness. August 15th.
They start out with A, so
You're right.
Like August, April.
Those are probably the only ones, right?
Easy to mix up. August 15th, 2014.
Can you believe it?
And it's an amazing day here in Southern California, which it typically is a lot, but a lot of times it gets really cloudy and cold and stuff like that. Not really cloudy, not really cold, but you know.
Well, we have Karen in the chat room today from Seattle, so I think you should shut up because
I know, right? Oh my gosh.
She's got real reason to somewhat complain.
Yes.
Even though we don't believe in that lately.
Yeah, our complaining fast. How's that been going?
Not so well. And even that's complaining.
It's true, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we've had some challenges, I will say.
But like you said, every single time is a time to start over. So we can just choose to wipe out the slate, wipe it off, and start over, and there we go.
Yeah. It's
we're trying.
It presents itself an opportunity. It's sort of like when you're doing meditation, you know, and you're trying to get rid of your thoughts. You know, you're trying to sit there and not have any thoughts. But and so when you realize you are thinking about, you know, what you need to feed the dog, you need to stop kicking your dog.
Right. Maggie.
But when you have those thoughts during meditation, it's always an exercise to be like, okay, this is a good opportunity to realize I'm thinking and to let it go. Same with the complaining, right?
We don't realize how much we naturally do it. I mean, my gosh, this complaining thing has been eye-opening for me.
I think it's because we live in such a challenging place that we want to move out of so bad. That's one of the challenges. Is we want to move out of where we are and move somewhere where it's quieter. And so there's many times during the day where there's lots of opportunities to say things sarcastically about fire trucks and construction workers and all this chaos that happens right outside our window.
Oh, still. It was like the day we attempted to start it and the mariachi band was outside on the corner. Do you remember that?
Oh, I remember.
I think I mentioned that was it last Free For All? I mean, my gosh. There was a full mariachi band dressed in their, like...
Were they dressed up?
Mexican tuxedos, yeah.
Really?
With their full ensemble on our street corner.
I could hear them in the studio, but I couldn't. I never saw them. But they were all had their garb on.
It was weird because it's like we live in a little neighborhood where there's apartments and houses and little cottages and things, and we're like, they were on the corner of an apartment building street. Like there's not like there's a park right there or anyone to really. So cars would roll down their windows and be like, "Hey, yay!" and they'd clap, and then the mariachi band would start playing louder. That was so.
That was bizarre.
I mean, it was actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I was laughing. I'm like, this can't get any weirder. Like,
yeah, very strange.
Very
odd.
Very loud.
It's funny. What do you think it is with I know we talked about this before. I can't tell. It's so funny. I can't tell a lot of times what we talk about with each other or what we share on the show. It's all becomes kind of the same.
It's getting blurred.
Yeah, but do you think it's something that you get older and you sort of desire and crave a more peaceful life, or is it that we're getting cleaned out and we're more sensitive to things like that? You know, I can't figure that out.
That's a really good question. I'd probably go with the latter.
That we're getting more cleaned out?
Yeah, because, I mean, gosh, I don't know a lot of super young people that are really sensitive to noise. I mean, if we had a child right here in this apartment right now that we're in and they were like 9, I don't think they'd be, if we weren't complaining, I don't think they would just run into the room and be like, I can't stand the trash truck today, or, you know, like, you don't really hear kids do that. So, but you hear a lot of elderly people do it. I mean, all day long at the salon through those 15 years I was working, it was like,
really?
Oh, yeah. They'd come in and, you know, the older crowd, you know, like, not super old, but, you know, 60s and above, and especially 70s, 80s, they would seriously be like, oh, that lady's talking way too loud. I can't stand that. Or, gosh, they don't know when they throw down those magazines that that's, like, annoying. Or, I mean, people get annoyed as they get older, so I don't know if we're old enough yet.
That's not good. That's less than great, isn't it?
That's less than great.
Wow. Yeah, I know that's true, because a lot of times if you go to a senior center or something like that, or speak with older people who are retired or whatever, you know, it seems like you find one of two types of people. You find people that are really happy and joyous, and they just love life. And then you have the people that are just cranky and upset and annoyed at everything and complaining.
I know.
You know, that's one of the things that you really have to chart your course, don't you? You really have to say, okay, this is the type of person I'm going to be, and got to work at that every single day.
Yeah.
Because if not, the default setting is whatever your inclinations are, you're going to be the times 10 when you're 70, 80, 90 years old.
No, it's true. And
you know?
I think this week it's been the people that we want to kick out of our dream house, by the way.
Oh, yeah. We have a dream house. Mm-hmm. We've already set that.
Have we said this before? Oh, set the intention. Yeah.
Yeah. We have a house that people don't know it yet. They're living in our house, but we will be moving in. We've given them 3 years, 3-year notice.
So this house is just amazing. It's a dream. It's in a cul-de-sac on the quietest street in this town, right by the beach. You know, just the ultimate dream that anybody would dream. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's like a vacation.
And before this house was built, you and I got married right on that. Like, basically, we took our wedding photos on this property before the house was even built. It was like an empty lot on a cliff. It was just beautiful, just like brush and just nature and a cliff. And we went up there and did our photo session, and we have them hanging in our house, some of them.
Yeah.
And then we got married right across the street from that property on the beach.
On the beach, yeah.
With our family and a few friends. And it's just funny. So then they started building that house, maybe 6 years into our marriage, probably?
Something like that.
Probably.
Yeah.
So it was a while, and we'd walk by there every day and think, oh, that's kind of part of our story. Thanks for building our house. Yeah. We already had pictures of it before, and we'll have pictures after.
Yeah, right.
No, but anyway, these people that moved in and built this house, they're lovely. What do you think? Maybe they're early 70s?
Probably early 70s, yeah.
Oh, man. And are they the coolest people? Not only are they living the life, but I had a conversation with them the other day. I went up and told them our story about, hey, are you guys the owners of that house? And just the nicest guy, you know, and he's sitting there in his beach chair reading his paper, and she had just gotten up in her bikini, by the way, and she was awesome. She rocked that thing. Nice. And she just went into the water, took a dip, and came out and shook off and was just smiling. I mean, they, you know, and I'm thinking, man, they don't have a lot to worry about. You know, they live in this beach house, you know, and they were super happy, and and I thought, you know, what have they gone through though in life? It might have not always looked this polished and pretty, and you know, they could have been through so much, and the fact that they don't really live there and it's a vacation home, and they dreamed, I mean, it sounded like a dream of theirs too.
Yeah.
But I noticed she had a scar. Did you see that?
No.
All the way from her knee to her ankle.
Oh, really?
It looked like the whole front of one of her legs had just been completely either ripped apart. I mean, it looked worse than like a surgery scar. It looked like she had a major injury to that leg.
Really?
And she wasn't walking too well. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't see that. No.
And I thought, you know, who knows what that story is, and maybe one day we'll hear, but I thought, I want to set my intention to be like those people. Those people are super happy. they don't seem bogged down and cranky and upset by the world. I mean, I don't think a lot of people that live in a dream beach house, multi-million-dollar house would seem that way.
Right.
But it still just painted a picture of like, even if I'm dirt poor and live in a trash can, I could still choose to be that way.
Yeah.
It was such a joy to be around them, and that's the kind of energy. I just was thinking, I want to set my intention. That's the age, at that age that I see them at, I want to be like that.
You know, it's funny because to get there,
they're my new measuring stick.
Years of conditioning, doesn't it? You know, it takes years of changing your the way you think about things and changing your thought patterns.
Yeah.
And really investing in yourself. And some people are just like that by nature. I feel like we're just kind of average. We're not overtly negative, or we're not overtly, crazy happy. We're just kind of normal. But I think that as time goes on and you get more and more, it's almost like you get calcified in your way of thinking.
In your thinking, yeah.
It's like yoga people will talk about this, about how you become stiff, not only physically, but mentally. You become less willing to do new things or be spontaneous or accept new ideas. This kind of stuff it almost seems like it's a calcification of the personality or something. It's like your soul or personality somehow becomes calcified.
Maybe that's where the calcification process starts first and then goes into the other areas of your body. I mean, isn't that what breakdown is? It's just maybe that's also when your will when you give up your will. Maybe it's just you become calcified by the world and the negativity. And
I think that no matter I think that no matter what, I wonder if those people that you talked about, I wonder if they were happier. Like if you take someone who's really, really happy and easygoing and just really choosing to be happy in their later years in life, I wonder if they were, like if it's a progression thing, and like if we were to look at that person and say, oh wow, they're amazing. For 70 years old, they're just happy, 80 years old, happy and just excited about life. I wonder if they were even more that way when they were 30, or if they've always been that way.
Right. Or if they had like a midlife flip, the Scrooge thing, like they had an aha moment and they went from this miserly, horribly depressed, mean, angry person to, hey, I'm not getting any younger, or some wake up call happened, like a disease or an illness or a diagnosis. And
a lot of times people have that,
Totally.
Because I'm just trying to figure out if it's something that people have, whatever their way of being is, if it gets progressively less or more calcified and less happy and joyous. I wonder if it becomes like that just by nature, or if people just they just are the same way they are their whole life. Because
I think the world tells us that. Growing up, you hear comments like, if you're a pessimist, you'll always be a pessimist. Once an optimist, you'll always be. But it's like, I don't like being put into that I don't like being put into categories, because it's anybody's game. Anything can change, and
everything happens in the moment too.
Right?
You can choose to be happy in the moment, or in the next moment you could choose to be sad, but. It gets into that whole thing with, they talk about neuroplasticity, where the brain is more like plastic. And people thought that once you create neural pathways of a certain idiosyncrasy or reaction to things, that sort of becomes who you are. But they're learning now more and more that our brains are plastic, and pliable, and they're able to be changed, and and people are able to change how they think and what they do with how they think and all that stuff. That's like the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Oh, right.
In his book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. He talks about all that kind of stuff. And it's just interesting, I just, I know for me, it's something that I want to choose and choose in every moment. And I think living in gratitude is part of that. Being grateful for what you have. And, it's funny because you could walk around and complain about everything, but then, it's just, there's a guy at the gym that I see often, and you know who he is, Kate.
Okay.
And, I'll be working out, and, it's funny because a lot of times when you go to the gym and it's really crowded, you think, I can't get on a machine, or I can't get on I want to do squats, or I want to do kettlebells or something, and there's people using it. I can't.
Well, we go to a tiny little gym where there's only like one set of everything. So it gets extra frustrating.
It's like a little garage kind of where we go, and so you get into this idea of attachment to things. You think, oh, those are my kettlebell sets, or that's my squat rack, you know?
Yeah. I was going on that machine next.
Yeah, I was just going to go on that machine. That's mine. And you get into this attachment thing. But when you let that go and you start realizing that, you know, we're all just using this stuff. We're all just using our bodies. And then you can start getting, gosh, like I can't, you know, it might take me 2 hours to do an hour workout because it's so busy, and you start wanting to complain about something like that. But there's this guy at the gym who, it's just amazing. He comes in there in a wheelchair.
Oh yeah, I know.
And
that
he's just paralyzed from his waist down, and he's probably about 55, I'd say.
Yeah, he's young.
And I look at him and I think, man, there's every reason for a guy like that to not work out. You know, you're older. You don't have to work out. It's not like you're working out to look good.
Yeah.
You're not working out to have this ripped body. You're definitely not working out to be better at playing sports. You know, here he is working out, and he's just such an inspiration. Just quiet guy. You know, he's not
super nice.
He's not, you know, overtly happy, overtly upset. He's just doing his thing. You know.
Yeah.
And, I just find it to be so, just a kind of a wake up call every time I see him, because we can complain about so many things,
right.
But unless we're realizing, you know what, I just walked here. Some people
and
can't
you know
walk.
his story was his was taken away from him in a car accident. So
was it a car accident? Or it wasn't skiing.
No, it was a
like
car
that.
accident.
Oh,
yeah.
Man.
So yeah, it puts a little
much, right?
It puts a new perspective on things.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And the fact that he doesn't seem bitter, I'm sure he's gone through his times like anybody would if something was just taken brutally from you. But
yeah,
oh man, you're right. He is a
there he
beacon
is,
of hope.
trying to improve himself, you know, and he's not doing it for vanity reasons.
Right.
You know? He's not doing it to look good. He's not doing it for any other reason than just to be better than he was yesterday.
Yeah.
And you know, and I just, I'm such an empath when it comes to that. I watch him and I think, dude, if I had $400 million in my bank account and someone said, you know, if you can give all that up to make this guy walk, I'd do it in a second. Like, could you imagine what that guy would feel if you just said, hey, get up off your wheelchair, you can start walking? Oh my gosh, wouldn't that be, I would, and for a second. And so when I have to retrain how I think about him, because I can't let that affect me like that. Because I get so sad for a guy like that. But here he is. He's happy. He's doing his thing. He's not complaining. He's, you know, and so if I were to be friends with him and talk to him and tell him I'm sad for him, that would make him sad. And he's just focused on going to work and, you know, doing his thing, you know?
Yeah.
And he's figured out ways to live, and being empathic is kind of hard, you know?
Yeah. We've been talking a lot about, about that lately. Cause before we had Tom, what was, why am I blanking on Tom from Tom Stones?
Oh,
what was his last name?
Yeah, he's a guy who should
just
change
be
his
Tom
name.
Stones.
He should change his name. Tom Benedict.
Tom Benedict.
Let me find out what
episode.
Show. Tom, Tom. There we go. Tom Benedict. 270.
270.
Yeah.
At the end of that conversation, off the air, he told us that we were both very empaths. We were empaths. And empath is a word I hadn't heard until after I think I first heard it 2013, the World Summit for Hay House.
Oh, for Hay House, yeah.
Excuse me. And I'd never heard that word before and didn't know if I was one, but they started giving all the signs that you might be an empathic person, an empath. And I brought this up, and I think this is true of you and me. Do you want me to read what an empath is?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, let me see this here. Come down the list. These are just, there's 30 reasons. I'll just read a couple though. Knowing. Empaths just know stuff without being told. It's a knowing that goes way beyond intuition or gut feelings, even though that is how you would describe the feeling, the knowing. The more attuned they are, the stronger this gift becomes. Being in public places can be overwhelming. That's very true to us.
Being in loud places.
Feeling others' emotions and taking them for your own. This is a huge one for empaths. Just someday we'll feel emotions off those nearby, and from a distance or both. Watching violence, cruelty, or tragedy on TV is unbearable, and that's totally true for me.
Yeah.
You know when someone is not being honest. I'm pretty in tune with that, I think. And I know in myself I'm not being honest. Picking up on physical I can't read today. Picking up physical symptoms off one another. An empath will almost always develop the ailments of another. Interesting.
Really?
An example, colds, eye infections, body aches and pains, especially those they're closest to.
Wow. Remember a while back?
Somewhat like sympathy pains.
Yeah, sometimes that happens to us when I can't tell if it's being an empath or if I just passed a bug to you.
Or being a hypochondriac.
Yeah.
But sometimes, I mean, it's even weird that, like, your left knee will be hurting. And you won't mention it for 2 days, and I'll be, like, bothered by mine for 2 days, and I won't say anything. And then I'll be like, man, my left knee has been hurting. You're like, my left knee has been hurting.
Yeah,
that's pretty weird.
Yeah.
Digestive orders and back problems. It goes into a lot more details. Always looking for the underdog. Anyone who's suffering emotionally in pain or being bullied draws an empath's attention and compassion. That's true. Others will want to offload their problems on you, even strangers. You become a dumping ground for everyone else's issues and problems.
Or if people feel like they can always open up to you, like they're going to tell you a secret.
Oh, exactly.
You know, people do that to me.
Oh, me too.
They'll say, oh, I know I can trust you. I'll tell you this secret or whatever. And it's just, wow, you know. Please don't tell me, because then I'll be thinking about it, and I don't want to have to lie to people.
Yeah, I know.
You know, or not say anything to someone, or
yeah, no, I know. It's like, why do that? Why put that on someone?
Yeah.
Constant fatigue, addictive personality. You can turn to things such as alcohol, drugs, sex, to name a few.
But places
that they turn to block out the emotions of others.
It's funny when you read lists like this, because this could be something that everyone has. You know, is everybody empathic? Because it's almost like this list is, you know, the requirements for being human.
Yeah.
But
I think some people are just different, though. Like, I look at some people in our lives and I wouldn't think these things of them.
That's true. Yeah,
my friend that I recently had a parting ways with, she's not very many of these things.
Very
cold, doesn't really care. Doesn't seem like she cares, but just in a different way. Drawn to healing holistic therapies and all things metaphysical. They're creative, from singing, dancing, acting, drawing, or writing. An empath will have a strong creative streak and a vivid imagination. The love of nature and animals. The need for solitude. Gets bored or distracted easily if not stimulated. Whether you're at school or work, it has to be interesting. Finds it impossible to do things they don't enjoy. Strives for the truth. Always looking for the answers and knowledge. Likes adventure, freedom, and travel. Empaths are free spirits. Abhors clutter. It makes an empath feel weighed down and blocks the flow of energy.
That's true.
Yep. Loves to daydream. Finds routine, rules, or control imprisoning. That's so true.
Wow.
Anything that takes away their freedom is debilitating to an empath, even poisoning. Prone to carry weight without necessarily overeating. An excellent listener. Intolerance to narcissism. Yeah. The ability to feel the days of the week. An empath. Hey, I've never heard that before.
Wow.
That's so true. An empath will get the, quote, Friday feeling if they work Fridays or not. They pick up on how the collective others are feeling. The first couple of days of a long bank holiday weekend, example Easter, they can feel to them like the world is smiling, calm, and relaxed. Sunday evenings, Mondays, and Tuesdays of a work week have a heavy feeling. That is so true.
I completely, yeah.
We've always said that. We're like, why does it feel like Friday, or why does it feel like a holiday? Or
yeah.
We'll choose not to buy antiques, vintage, or secondhand. Anything that's pre-owned carries the energy of the previous owner. That is not true for me, because I love everything old and beat up and reclaimed. But you don't.
I don't at all. Yeah.
Sense the energy of food. Many empaths don't like to eat meat or poultry because they can feel the vibrations of the animal, especially if it's suffered, and even if they like the taste. Interesting. And the last one in this list, there's a bunch more online, but you can appear shy, moody, aloof, or disconnected. Depending on how an empath is feeling will depend on what face they show to the world. Interesting.
Yeah.
And you can be seen as unsociable. And sorry, but that definitely can be you.
What's that?
You can be unsociable. Like, you can be perceived as that.
Yeah.
People don't think that you're very social, but you have to be in the right situation to have that really shine from you, I think.
Yeah, that's true. I don't like to be, like in big groups or something like that. I'm always the one that just kind of sits back and listens to what everyone else is saying.
Totally.
And people don't think that I have much to offer, but it's not really that at all. I think that's the case with a lot of empaths too. Is they just kind of, don't like to be the center of attention and that kind of thing.
It's pretty interesting list, eh?
It's funny. Speaking of being an empath, it was funny. I don't know if you guys have heard the show we did with Mike Adams. And I thought it was really interesting when he was talking about his work with Natural News. And he's writing about all kinds of stuff that's very dark sometimes, not always dark, but, government conspiracies or, whether or not, the
California coast is going to fall into the ocean.
Yeah. Just very heavy subjects, a lot of it, but I love his work because someone needs to be saying these things. And we were talking with him during the show, and on the show he said that he doesn't take the approach of being one of those types of people who sort of shuts the news out, and which is what we've done basically.
Yeah, we got rid of our TV and cable.
Yeah, I don't watch any Fox or CNN. I get my news from online different sources, and even if it's a bad story, I don't like to watch it or put my energy to it. I don't like to focus on it. Because of that empathic role. And he said, it's interesting because we're asking him about that. Like, how do you stay balanced? When you writing a story about, whether or not the Lyme's disease was created in a lab in Lyme's, was it? Connecticut, or, genetic engineering and how they're trying to depopulate the earth or whatever. And he just said that that's part of what he does every day is goes out for a walk and, gets reconnected with nature and stuff like that. But for me, it's not that easy. I ruminate on that stuff. I can't just let that stuff go. And then I started thinking like, if you're going to choose to let stuff in, you should probably know whether or not you're an empath.
That is a really powerful point.
I mean, it's if you don't know what kind of person you are, then it would be damaging to just either let someone, like, let's say you have really thick skin and you can handle that stuff, and that stuff doesn't affect you. I believe it does, no matter what, just being human on an energetic level.
Yeah.
I believe it does affect your subconscious mind. But let's say, for example, you could handle all that. You can watch all that stuff and just get into the whole patriot movement and talk about how the government's going to come and and they're building
concentration camps and
FEMA camps, and they're going to take away all our rights
and you can get food.
Yeah, you can get into all that stuff and it doesn't affect you. Well, then for someone like that, it would probably be good for that person to get into that stuff because they want to be informed and they want to know how to protect themselves. And so, but if they're an empathic person and they're just slightly interested, if they're not aware that they're an empath, they just get into that kind of stuff and it ruins them. And so you got to know what kind of person you are before you know how much of certain stuff you can let in,
When it reminded me when you said you got to know what kind of person you are, that back in the day I took have you heard of the Myers-Briggs test?
No.
It's really cool. When I was actually doing premarital counseling with the guy that I almost married, you, the pastor that was taking us through like a premarital counseling thing, said that we should just start out by honestly knowing what kind of personality we are, because who takes the time to figure out what kind of person you are? So we'll put a link to this, but the Myers-Briggs test is really interesting. It's myersbriggs.org, and there's basically...
Is it BRIGGS?
MYERSBRIGGS, okay. Myers-Briggs. And you can take this test online. I'm not sure if it charges or what, but you can find out from 4 letters. There's a combination of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 things you could possibly be. And they give you a letter. Oh gosh. Okay. So you could turn out with 1, 2, 3, 4 times 4, 16 different combos of these letters.
Really?
Yeah. And I came out as an ENFP. I'll never forget that.
What is it?
An ENFP.
ENFP.
I'm an extrovert, which is the E.
Okay.
Or EN or EI. N is intuition. I'm intuitive. The F, I'm feeling. And the P is perceiving. So you're either, the categories are extroversion or introversion. You're a sensor or you're an intuitive. You're a thinker or a feeler, or you're a judging or perceiving. And you can take this test to find out. I mean, it's the most in-depth personality test I've ever seen.
How long does it take to do?
I mean, I did it in 20 minutes or something.
So you must answer a lot of questions.
You do. And it's been a long time since I've done it, but I just thought of it when you brought it up. And I thought, that's funny that what was that, 14 years ago, I took this test, and I always remembered that I'm an ENFP, but that meant nothing to me until you started just saying right now about you should know if you're an empath going into something or not. But I've known that because I am the feeler. I'm a feeler. I take things on really deeply. And so it's like, I've always known that, but like some of the stuff I always know, I can't put it into practice or even like have my moment until like a moment right now where something like a 2x4 hits you over the head.
Yeah.
And you're like, duh, I've always known that.
Isn't that weird?
Why haven't I like put that to use more or understood myself a little better earlier? That would have been a little
I'm going
bit.
to go on there and you can find out. I wonder if it's free. I'd like to try that.
I don't know. And I would have done more research into that before the show, but I didn't know we were going to come up like that. But
well, there's also, tests that are just as long that people can do to find out their Ayurvedic body type.
Oh, nice.
And the Ayurvedic system of medicine, has been around for 5,000 plus years. And it's an ancient art where they've been able to determine not just your body type and what kinds of foods are good for you, but also, how you respond to things, your personality, and what kind of emotional responses and what would be good for a personality of that type.
That's included in the Ayurveda
Yeah, you can go on. I'll find a link that's a good link, and you can go on, and it's sort of like the Myers-Briggs test, where it's a huge, like, it talks about like how often you dream, or what's your response to stress, or when someone does this to you, do you typically respond like this, or this? And so it's like this whole.
Have you done it?
I haven't done it yet, but I'm curious, and it'll be interesting to do the Myers-Briggs test along with Ayurvedic test to find out. But really deep down, we know who we are, don't we? If you really
get still enough to go down
and
that
stop
road,
having other people's voices in our head and just get quiet and be with our own voice. That's the problem, is that a lot of times our voice becomes someone else's voice. It becomes like infused, like intertwined. So we're talking to ourselves and we're realizing that's my mom talking. It's my dad. Wait a minute, that's not me.
That's fear, or that's
fear,
or that's a person that's told me something before.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are we going on a commercial right now?
Are we? Oh, let's see. I don't even know how long we've been going. 32 minutes.
I know.
Oh my goodness.
Because if we are, I have a story about that. I'm
Sweet
flying
sassy
high. Sweet sassy molasses?
Sweet sassy molasses.
I've never heard that. Where'd that come from?
I don't know.
Oh my goodness. I love it. I'm flying high this morning for my morning, and I want to tell you about it.
Oh yeah.
Maybe when we get back from the break, but listening, I had a really cool situation where I was listening and I got some information about something.
Was this before or after we both kicked Maggie?
Oh, poor Maggie. We both kicked. We have never once. I don't think I've ever kicked Maggie by accident in the face.
I wheel kicked her into the side of the ribs.
I heard a scream. I was getting ready to come in for the show, and I heard this high-pitched shriek. And I come in, and Maggie's heart is beating, and you're petting her, trying to console her. And you said you roundhouse kicked her to the side by accident.
It was.
And then I was laughing, feeling bad, because she was like all needy and trying to lick you and make up, and you're telling her it's okay.
She was almost going to bite me because she was so mad, like upset that I kicked her.
And then I'm dying laughing, and I got up to put my laptop over here or something, and I was trying to kick a cord behind my foot to get it out of the way. I just kicked her right in the face.
Just a crescent kick to the side of the jaw.
Poor Maggie. And she screamed again.
Oh, man. That was twice in a matter of less than 2 minutes.
Is that being empathic? Did we take on each other's energy? And we both did the same thing without knowing?
Isn't that funny?
Oh, that was poor Maggie.
Because I was reaching over trying to put the biomat on for her.
Do something nice for her.
I was trying to do something nice for her so she could lay on the warm of the heat. And I was done, and I swung my body all the way around and just wham, right to the side of her body.
Why are you swinging your body up off of the floor?
Who knows?
That's the bigger question.
That's the bigger question.
Like some kind of monkey.
Some kind of, oh my gosh.
Ape man.
Some kind of monkey.
Oh.
Alrighty. So I want to hear about your morning, because
my morning was really cool.
Yeah. Before that, I asked you, "Hey, how was your morning?" And you said, "Oh, I want to share it on the show." So I don't even know either.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah, it was a great morning. I'm flying high off the energy of it right now.
I've got a little ice cream here that I made from berries that I'm going to eat during the break. What is it? I made it from frozen berries, frozen avocado, One World Whey, packet of stevia, a little bit of vanilla.
You put coconut water in there?
Tiny bit of coconut water just to get the Vitamix kind of going,
That is good stuff.
And I froze it overnight. I'm going to have some Scooby snacks here.
I'm almost done with my Scooby snacks. I'm almost done with my smoothie. and I put coconut oil into it as the Vitamix was running on low, because otherwise it'll just clump up.
Yeah.
But I've realized it disperses better, but it still gets hard like a magic shell.
Yeah.
So it's like eating. I feel like it's coming up through the straw, and then it slowly melts in my mouth, and it's like these like
little chunks.
Yeah, little flakes of
so good
frozen yumminess. Yeah.
All right, we got a lot to get to. I actually have notes. We're going to get to probably 3 or 4 things out of everything that we want to get to on this show. So much to get to, but I want to hear about your morning after the break too. All right, so this is episode. Sorry, Maggie, don't be afraid. She's yawning. Don't be afraid, Maggie. We won't roll over you. This is episode 300, and we'll be right back right after this. I have to say, I have been absolutely loving this product by Tristan Truscott and Peter Ragnar called Good Morning, Good Evening Qigong. If you want to listen to the interview we did with Tristan, you can go to extremehealthradio.com/127. And Qigong is a great way to de-stress the body. And as you know, there's a huge component to disease caused by stress. And stress is a huge factor in how we live our lives and the amount of energy we have and the amount of vitality we have. And so, Dr. Shade, what do you think about Qigong?
People come to me and they're really sick and they got this blown out neurological system and all this toxicity. And I tell them, you need to do Qigong, Tai Chi. You need to do these things that settle down and restore your neurology, because it puts together all the parts. It puts you back into that state where you can start to detoxify. And so I highly, highly recommend all that.
And what about you, Kit Campbell? What do you think about Qigong? Do you like it as well?
Qigong is amazing. And the reason that I believe it to be amazing is everything here is energy. That is a scientific fact, if there ever is one. So when you're practicing Qigong, you're actually drawing energy into your body. Your intention, whatever your intention is behind any action, will determine the level of energy, type of energy that you absorb into your body. So your intention behind is very important, just like thought. So when you're practicing Qigong, you're actually bringing energy in and you're bringing out the stuff that might be a bit stale. With Tai Chi, it's totally different. The energy runs underneath the skin because it's more of a martial. This is the Chinese understanding, by the way. It's more of a martial art. So Qigong is very, very good for bringing that energy into the body, and just fantastic.
If you're interested in picking up this Qigong course by Tristan Truscott and Peter Ragnar, go to extremehealthradio.com/Qigong. That's QIGONG. And you can learn more about it. There's a great video on that page, and you can learn more about it on that page. And I highly, highly recommend this product. I love it myself. So go ahead and check that out. extremehealthradio.com/Qigong. Are you living in the 21st century taking 19th century supplements? Vitamin C pills and powders are often destroyed in the digestive system and passed as waste, never reaching your depleted cells. Lipospheric vitamin C uses a patented encapsulation technology to deliver more without the stomach distress caused by pills and powders. Within minutes, liposomes filled with vitamin C are transported directly into your cells without binders, fillers, sugar, or GMOs. With all the modern advances of medicine and technology, are you throwing away money every morning on inefficient supplements? For under $1 a day, you could experience the power of lipospheric vitamin C. For a real eye-opener, visit extremehealthradio.com/vitamin C.
100% listener supported. Extreme Health Radio. Opening minds and transforming lives worldwide. Don't forget to join our thriving community for health tips, inspiration, and show updates at extremehealthradio.com/Facebook.
Maggie made it through the break without getting kicked or rolled over, so I think she's happy.
Really? She should train to be a UFC fighter, a little dachshund doggy division.
If she stood up on her hind legs, she'd have like no arms. She definitely couldn't be a boxer.
She couldn't even put the gloves on.
No. She has no hands.
She's got no hands.
They're like an inch.
They're so small.
Her little legs are like an inch and a half.
So, how have you been liking the Qigong?
Oh my gosh, I
We've been
love
doing
it.
that a lot lately.
I love it.
Awesome, isn't it?
Interesting idea, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's amazing.
There's something mental about like the ritual of like I said in another episode, just like flecking off the negative energy at the end of a day. And gosh, I feel like that stuff really does hang on to you if you don't have a way to kind of wade through that stuff.
Disperse it. Yeah, it's awesome because in the Qigong course, there's a bunch of different videos of training videos and all kinds of stuff. But then at the end, when you're done learning all about it, there's these power sessions that you can do that take place 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes in the evening.
That's all. 10 minutes.
That's so easy. And it's great, too, because it's not like something that you have to be physically fit to do. It doesn't take your breath away. It's not exercise in that sense. It's not really like, it's energy work,
Yeah.
And
there are a couple times when I feel like my heart rate gets up a little bit.
Yeah.
From repeating a sequence of things, but.
And it just feels so good to do that in the morning and do it in the evening. And I think it's a really beneficial thing. And they've got some tapping sequences that you do, and pretty cool.
Yeah. Speaking of tapping, I got to get back into. I've been slacking on my tapping, EFT.
Yeah, I forget too. There's so many things I try to do in a day that I can't remember to do everything. But yeah, tapping's really cool. Yeah, it sounds so weird, doesn't it?
It does.
I have to say, it sounds so strange.
Well, it's just so not on our radar, like growing up in this Western culture,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, but
Kirsty in the chat room, our friend, says, good morning, good evening. Qigong is so powerful.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and I knew that. I think Kirsty mentioned that a couple shows ago. But yeah, she's been delving into it and said that all kinds of things have been changing with her.
Oh, that's right. I remember you said that.
Yeah, I remember I told you that off the air.
I wonder, did she write you an email about that, or she told you?
She told me in the chat room. Yeah, Kirsty, let us know again what it is that you've been sensing the change. Is it more peace or more energy? Or I'm just curious to...
Yeah.
I forget. I remember this was a couple episodes ago, but I told you about it.
Gosh, it's such a...
it is really seriously powerful when you commit to it and do it on an ongoing basis.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's so funny because it's such a different thing than working out like in the gym or, or anything like that. It's so different from that. It's such a different form of I don't even call it exercise. It's weird. It's awesome. I love it.
It's like a ritual. I don't know.
It's like a moving meditation, similar to Tai Chi, I guess.
Yeah. Kirsty says the first thing was a crazy abundance of a sense of gratitude. That's right.
Really?
Isn't that cool?
Wow.
Yeah.
That is cool.
You know what? But it's so sad that so many people could miss out on that gift because we have a friend who's been going through a really rough time emotionally and a lot of anxiety and depression and things like that. And just kind of like a midlife crisis, actually. And I ran into him up the street at the store, and he was saying that he felt like he just was so depleted of energy. And he said he'd heard of Qigong. And it's like, I didn't even know that he'd ever even heard of Qigong because he's not super in the natural realm, So he asked me about it, and I said, well, if you're ever interested, I'm not trying to sell you anything, but you should check out it's online. I didn't even give him our address. I just said, go online and check out Good Morning, Good Evening Qigong.
Yeah.
It would really help you. And he was too fearful. He was too afraid.
Really?
Yeah. He goes, I don't know. It just seems like this Eastern kind of weird.
Really?
Yeah. He wasn't comfortable with it. He goes, how do you, I think he asked me how you protect yourself spiritually from something like that. And I go, well, it's not like any religious kind of a practice. And I think the name of it kind of freaked him out, like kind of how people hear the New Age, and they think Qigong is this really, and I don't know. I mean, I'm just like, whatever you believe, I think that energy is a real thing. It's coursing through our bodies. We can harness it in different ways. We can use it for different aspects for healing and really just add energy and value to your life. And he wasn't willing to go there. And like, it's been a couple months. And I think if he would have started doing it, he would have gained so much benefit from it. But
yeah. Wow.
Oh, and then Kirsty followed up with, she said she just started giving people more compliments, with words and with gestures. She said she was overflowing with positive energy that was easy to just give others in day-to-day interactions. It's such a personal experience when you are using your own natural energy to heal and enhance your life.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, some of the Qigong gets into the work of Carolyn Myss. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Carolyn Myss, but she talks about how we have an energetic bank account every single day and essentially for our life as well. And so every day, let's say you're given $100 worth of energy and You okay?
I just roundhouse kicked my own self.
What's going on today? Maybe we should sign up to a train or something.
Like a UFC fighter over here with my own body. I just hit the microphone stand super hard.
That's funny.
Okay.
No, but yeah, she talks about how we have an energetic bank account, and like each day we're given $100, say for example, and we spend that $100 any way we want. And so, someone tells us of some drama. So and so's cheating on so and so, or so and so's gonna break up with their marriage, or so and so lied about me and at work. Blah, blah, blah. And then so you start going down that road and talking about it and going, oh my gosh, that person. And so you start getting angry for that person. So then you just paid $20. Can't get that $20 back, right? It's gone.
It's
so
gone.
now you have $80.
Out of the wallet.
And you have someone that cuts you off on the freeway. That gets you upset for 5 minutes. That's $5, and then, something else happens and
the cashier was rude to you. So-and-so didn't ask you about how your day was, and you start ruminating on that. That's $10. All of a sudden, by the end of the day, by 8:00, you've used all $100 up. Then something else happens, drama. Someone calls you, wants you to do something or asks you to do something when you already told them no. Now, all of a sudden, where do you don't have any money left. So now you got to pull that energy from your organs. You got to pull it from your spleen. You got to pull it from your digestive tract. You got to pull it from your energetic body. So then all of a sudden, from 8:00 till midnight, till you go to bed or whatever, you're starting to use energy that your body needs to heal. Yeah.
And so the work of Carolyn Myss talks about how we can restore. She talks about chakras and all this stuff, which probably plays into the Qigong thing, but she talks about how you can bring that energy back and turn off the spigot and stop the drainage of energy from your life. Stop that and stop getting into people's dramas and start, you know what I mean? So that's one step. Step one is to stop getting involved and not getting into it with people, not letting them just unload on you.
Yeah. And especially when you're an empath.
Oh man, especially
when you're in trouble.
And then so once you've stopped that, then you don't need to spend money on that stuff. Spend your energy on that stuff. And then you can start, if you go to the direction of Qigong or meditation or something, Tai Chi, you can start pouring back in money that you didn't use up in days past. You can actually restore.
Then you're saving it up and
then
storing.
Saving it up. And so what happens is that every time we get upset with something, like some drama happens in our life, or something, someone cuts us off or pushes us, or something that just happens to us, seemingly to us, and we get upset about that. The energy that we use in our minds to ruminate over, I should have acted this way or that way, that energy should be used for healing your body all day long. Yeah. Because all day long we have cancer cells. All day long we have heart disease cells. We have cells that are breaking us down, calcifying us. And when our energy is used on that meaningless, trivial stuff, it can't be used.
You can't run to the aid of those organs or those diseases or potential problems.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's what Qigong is all about.
Well, is that I'm going to mess up here. Is it Chinese? Is it ancient that believe the Qi? It's the Chinese that believe the Qi. I'd never heard that before. You mentioned how, this is a couple of years ago before we started even doing Qigong, but you said it's like this energy of life force. They call it Qi. That was believed. Most people believe that once it's gone, it's just gone.
It's like a one-time battery pack.
But don't the Chinese believe that you can regain it? Is that where Qigong practice started from? Like that you can gather it back? Because other cultures believe that once you spent it, your life force was gone. You would end up diseased and dead.
Yeah, it's like you have a certain amount of predetermined heartbeats,
right?
And the energy it takes to beat your heart. There's only so many of those you have in your life, but I think that's one of the reasons why people. It also involved martial arts. I think that's maybe what Tai Chi is. I mean, I may be wrong on that, but it involved martial arts. But the intention of the whole thing was to restore the Qi in your body.
Wow.
So all the longevity sages and all the people in ancient Chinese culture that were supposedly able to live for thousands, or not thousands of years, hundreds of years. Who knows if any of that's true or any of that's right? Who knows if Qigong even works? But that's why they practice it and what they were using it for.
Kirsty says one of the really cool things. She says with her Qigong practice, you get to know your, quote, energy body and how it is just as real as your physical body. But you have to experience it to really get it.
You know what I thought would be really cool in the Qigong course? I was telling you about this the other day when Tristan's doing the motions, because if you get into the to the 10-minute power sessions, it's basically, it shows Tristan and Peter doing, it's video. It's just amazing quality video. But it shows them doing the Qigong movements, and then it's overlaid with soft music and Tristan explaining what he's doing. So it's just like, it's really high quality audio.
Yeah.
And the video of them doing it. And so it's like following along, right?
I was going to say, it's like a guided meditation almost.
Yeah. There's no explanation of stuff. He's just telling you what to do, and it's just got this soft music. But I thought it'd be really cool if they were able to, through video editing, put like, he talks about the golden ball of light and putting that, gathering that up and pouring it into your, into the top of your head like a bucket. And wouldn't it be cool if they were able to, like, somehow, like in a Disney movie, you know how, like,
you super, yeah.
You know, you get the trail of someone running and it's like golden sparkles or whatever. They're able to do that in that.
That would be really cool. Yeah. I think there's power in that visualization of color, you know, and then there's the color therapy, and then there's like, I don't know, like, it's pretty neat when you can start visualizing things like that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So tell me what happened this morning. What happened?
Oh, so it was just, such a good morning. I feel like my chi is restored today.
Jing, they call it Jing, Qi, and Shen.
I have all. I'm full. I'm chock full today.
Chock full of all of it.
Well, so what happened? So for those of you who don't know, I've been struggling a little bit with pretty severe adrenal fatigue, and I've been doing things to kind of get back on board with my adrenals and kidneys and all that. So I've been extra just lethargic and tired and unmotivated and just not feeling that great, you know, on and off.
On top of this, I want to talk to you about your recent investigatory journalist skills.
Okay.
Because you found some stuff out about your body.
I have found out some really interesting things.
Yeah, so I want to talk about that after this.
Thank you. Okay, I'll make this quick. So, so I knew though that even though I went to bed way too late last night, I know my body needs to sleep more than usual, just because of what I've been kind of going through. But I set my alarm an hour earlier than I wanted to anyway, thinking, okay, I had this whole thing where I realized, like, we live 2 blocks from the beach, and I don't access like the healing part of the ocean as much as I should. Like, there's a whole beach, like, because when we go to the beach, it's okay. I like the beach. I love the beach. But when we sit out or we lay out or read books or go, you know, go down there, there's usually a bunch of people. It's midday or late afternoon by the time we're wrapping up with work and we can get down there. And it's loud. There's people, there's camps, there's surf camps, there's lifeguards running by, there's trains going by. It's just very super loud. And even though it should be peaceful, I feel more at peace on a mountain, on a hiking trail where I can't hear anything.
Yeah.
So the beach isn't really like a real source of relaxation for me.
It can be depending on factors.
I haven't made it that.
Yeah.
So I had can I have a bite of that at the break? Thanks. That looks really good. Your berry ice cream. So yesterday I thought, you know, I'm going to start this thing and being intentional, waking up early and really making the beach what I want it to be, because I know it can be that place of peace and solitude and, healing, you know, and being grounded and barefoot on the sand. And so anyway, I woke up, I set my alarm early. I woke up and I thought, there's no way I'm getting out of bed. This is ridiculous. I feel like I got hit by a train. I'm so tired, you know, and I just feel lethargic and what have you. So I reset the alarm for an hour thinking I'm just going to go back to bed and I'll just do this later, you know. So I reset the alarm, and then of course, like, I couldn't really go back to sleep. So I'm like, so for 10 minutes, I'm like, okay, as long as I'm up, I guess I'm already up. I'll get up and make my intention. I'll make good on my promise to myself. So I get up, and the minute I stood up, I'm like, there is no way I'm going to be able to walk at the beach. That fibroid I've been having in my lower right side of my uterine fibroid felt like it was twisting, like it sometimes does, and was causing me intense pain.
Really?
And I thought, this is crazy. Now that I even had the intention to get up, now my body is like sabotaging me. Now I can't go back to sleep.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'll be disappointed, but I won't go on the walk at the beach. Instead, I'll read Mind Over Medicine. I'm almost done with that book by Lissa Rankin.
Oh, Lissa Rankin, yeah.
So good. And I thought, okay, well, I'll just take this. I'll try not to complain, and I'll take this as a time to finish the book. So I went out onto the couch and I started reading, and I thought, how dumb am I? I always forget. Like, it's so not my first intuition to go grab the laser.
Oh,
but I thought,
yeah.
I need to go get the laser. So I went back in, crept into our bedroom. You were still sleeping because it was early, and we keep the laser, between us.
Mm-hmm.
So I grabbed it, went back into the living room, and laid there on the couch, and did like 4 rounds of the laser directly to the pelvic area and where the fibroid has given me issues.
Uh-huh.
And I was fine with just spending my morning at home reading and lasering. Well, after the 4th round, I got up to pee, and I walked just fine. Like, I couldn't even feel the effects of the fibroid acting up. Wow. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go with this. That is like God giving me a second go at this morning, and I still have 45 minutes before you were going to wake up, and I still have time to go down to the beach. So anyway, I got in the car, and I drove 2 blocks down the street because I wanted to get the most of the time at the beach instead of walking down the pavement.
Oh, I see, yeah.
So I parked there, went down the hill, and took off my shoes, and it was just the most amazing low tide, and nobody. It's like people were on the main beach trail, things that were starting to wake up, but like on the beach, there's just a couple random people jogging, or I saw this girl with bright pink hair doing yoga. And she was doing headstands and all kinds of, it was like watching, it was so cool though. It was like watching an art. It was like watching a Tai Chi, but she was upside down and her legs were doing all these amazing Cirque du Soleil things. And I was like, she's pretty amazing.
Wow.
But I thought you could just hear the waves. So I had my iPod onto Enya, a mixed Enya, and kind of at the halfway volume. So I could also hear the waves. And my gosh, it was exactly what I needed it to be. And I thought, how have I been missing out on these mornings? I haven't made this an intention. And it's been here all along. And this is the beach I've been longing for. Like, this is the connection with God and with nature that it's been right in front of me and I've known it, but like, it's like I'm getting thrown into this whole extreme self-care, which is another book by Cheryl Richardson, that I just thought, what do I need in order to heal? Like, what is going to heal my adrenal fatigue? Like, and a lot of things need to change. So, that was part of it. And I thought, you know what, every day that I am not working or I'm going to get up that extra hour early and go down there until it gets to be cold, because I have my feet in the water and it's super warm and I'm walking on this like soft velvety sand, and the sun is coming. The sun was up, but it was coming through the palm trees, and this, like, it created these rays that were hitting like the sand, and everything on the sand was sparkly and illuminated in gold. And then the way that the heat met the ocean created that little bit of like a fog,
little mist,
and it was just kind of lifting off it was just phenomenal. Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Wow.
I had a lot of moments. So anyway, I had a lot of things kind of going on in my head, and they were all good things, and just thinking about what is it I really need to be healthy and to get myself in top order, Yeah. So I walked for 40 minutes and then ended up on a rock, and I thought, I'm going to go sit on that rock, turn off Enya, and just sit there and let the sun shine on my face, and just kind of end this quote practice by just being still. And so I took off everything, took off the headset and just sat on this rock and closed my eyes, and there was no noise other than the ocean. And I just said this is so cool. I said internally, God, what is it that you'd want me to know today? Like, what is it that I need to know today? And it was so neat being grounded with your feet on the sand and have this ocean smell in your nostrils and the sun shining on your face.
All the negative ions.
It was amazing. Yeah. And I immediately heard God say to me that you are loved. And I said, well, I know that. And then God said to me, it was like a full conversation. He said, do you? And I said, like, yeah, I do. I said, but to be honest, I'm scared. And God said, what are you scared of? And I said, on this spiritual path, I feel close to you, but I'm really afraid at times of being wrong.
Oh, yeah.
And God said, like, what do you, I don't know what God said, but something like, what do you mean? And in my mind, I further expanded, like, isn't that all what we're afraid of? We're afraid of being wrong on this journey. And at the end, that's the thing. Ultimately, we're all afraid that we're going to be wrong.
Yeah.
In the outcome.
Yeah.
And God said to me, as long as you search for me in truth with your whole heart, there's no way you can be wrong.
Wow.
And I thought, wow. And I'm like, okay. So I kind of took that. And I walked up the hill, and I thought that was a really weird, cool, neat conversation with God. I was like, I had a talk with God. Yeah. And I thought of that verse in the Bible that I'd known my whole life that said, like, search for me, with your whole heart and you'll find me. Yeah. Kind of paraphrased. Yeah. And I thought, and I stopped, and it hit me of like, wow, my whole life and other people's lives still that I look at that are afraid of journeying into the spiritual realm a little bit deeper, they're searching with half their heart. And that's how I felt. I'd been searching this whole time for God with half of a heart.
Wow.
So that's all I've been getting back is half peace, half knowledge, half
feeling like you
half
know
anything.
What's going on. Yeah.
It hasn't been my whole heart in truth. And I thought, I just had this aha moment of, like some of this stuff with Extreme Health Radio, some of our guests, some of the things I've been reading, like I have no idea what's true. I don't know what's true. Yeah. I think there's bits of truth in some of it, and some stuff I feel a little scared of because it's not normal, quote, normal to me, or it's not comfortable. Mm-hmm. And I've been kind of afraid to go there sometimes because I think I'm going to because I'm feeling judged by God. Yeah. I think that He's judging me, or family and friends. But even God, I think, what if God's disappointed with my journey, or I'm off target here, or I'm off base, or this stuff's getting weird? And I thought, gosh, that answer was so refreshing. It was like I had the freedom in it to explore and to not be afraid. And as long as I'm seeking with my whole heart in truth, then I can't be wrong. And that's different for everybody. I mean, that's what's so beautiful about when you really hear the voice, what I think was the voice of God, because it didn't come from me making up a story.
Yeah, sometimes when it's your own mind talking to you and stuff like that.
And it really didn't feel like my own mind. The fact that, it was so weird. I never would have had God say to me, "You are loved." I wouldn't have made that up because I go, I know I'm loved. And then God said, "Do you?" And I was like, whoa.
Wow.
Yeah, but I'm afraid. And then that made the whole conversation.
It's funny because, all that wouldn't have happened if you didn't take the time out to set your intention to wake up, and then something was preventing you.
That's the thing.
It's almost like
the whole thing.
It's just funny because I don't like thinking of things in terms of resistance and entities that try to stop you from doing certain things. But if you were to create a story about that, it would be interesting because you could almost create something that seems like it was true. Like
I did go there in my brain.
Yeah,
I did exactly what you're going to say.
If there's some sort of entity that's a bad entity, I don't know what you call it, but some negative force that was trying to prevent you from connecting with God down there on the beach. Okay, let me make her fibroid act up so that she can not go.
This message.
But then you're like, okay, well, I'm going to sit here and read Lissa Rankin, so I'm going to gain power no matter if I go to the beach or not.
Right, you're not stopping me.
And so then you use the laser, and then the force, the negative energy says, all right, well, there's nothing we can do about this now, so now we'll just let her go.
Yeah.
Because either way, she's going to sit here and use the laser and get better, or she's going to gain power and gain some insight from reading Lissa Rankin's book. So we can't stop her.
Yeah, exactly.
So we can't stop her.
Like either way, you can't win, whatever that negativity or...
We'll just let her go. I don't know if that's really what happens. It seems kind of...
I don't know.
Seems kind of out there, but
that was my initial thought of like, look at what was trying to keep me from experiencing this moment.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Yeah, and then I took the breath and got in the car, and I was like, wow, that was really cool. Like that was really cool to have that time and meet with God. And then I felt God say to me, I've always been here. Like,
wow,
this has been here. The beach has been here. This time with me has been here, and you've been missing it because you haven't taken the time to connect with it.
Wow.
Like it's been there for years and I've been missing it. Like it's right in my own backyard, literally. And I haven't sought it out. So it was a really good, powerful learning lesson for me today.
I was reading something. It's basically, it's a lot unrelated, but it's just this really cool thing that I read the other day.
That's that great book you're reading, huh? By Stuart Wilde.
Yeah, it's so good. And it's called Your Word as Law. It's unrelated, but still it's just interesting. And maybe we'll take a break after this.
Yeah, no, please.
But he says, sorry, I got a lot of phlegm in my throat today.
It's the ice cream.
Yeah, it's weird.
No.
Establishing your word as law is important. The mind is used to getting away with a lot of promises it never intends to keep. You tell yourself you'll do this and that, and then you don't. You promise to pay your friend on Saturday and you forget, or you deliberately duck out of your obligation. It's important to establish your word as law unto yourself and others, because that in itself becomes an affirmation of your ever-developing authority over your ego. If you say to yourself that you will do something, do it. Don't make promises you won't keep, and don't make promises to others if you can't or won't follow through. Become immaculate. Be honorable. A life without honor is not worth having. Don't commit if you don't have to. If you aren't sure you can follow through, you can always stall others by saying, I'm not sure, call me in a week, and people are used to that. By making your word law, you develop power. Sounds easy, doesn't it? Most people are not used to their word as law. They are used to wimping out, sliding away if conditions don't suit them. It weakens them, for the mind knows that you are full of bull. As you start to work on yourself, your energy moves faster. Excuse me. In my book, Miracles, I suggest that the total energy you express as a mind, body, spirit is an oscillation, one that is moving very quickly. And so he goes on to say, as you work on yourself, your concentration moves away from the mundane and towards the infinity of the spirit within. Your total energy moves up faster and faster. Your ability to materialize things in life becomes more and more instantaneous. Once your energy starts going faster, any thoughts and feelings you have become reality extremely quickly. That's pretty interesting. You think about that burning bush, and there it is, burning in your hallway. Instant karma, positive or negative, depending on your focus. You are now grasping an immense power. Any errant thoughts, and suddenly a large turd is falling on your head from a great height. So your word as law requires you to understand the need to protect your power, and with that comes responsibility. Whatever you put out is what you're going to get, so be careful not to use your thoughts and feelings in a flippant way.
Wow.
Pretty interesting, huh?
Whatever you put out there. What was that last line? I liked that.
Let's see.
Whatever you put out there, you're going to get back, kind of thing.
So your word as law requires you to understand the need to protect your power, and with that comes responsibility. Whatever you put out is what you're going to get. So be careful not to use your thoughts and feelings in a flippant way. Interesting, huh? Because with something like that, it's like he's talking about how when you start resonating at a higher frequency, things start happening quickly. And so what you say and what you think about, it's not like a week out. It happens 5-10 minutes after you think it. You know?
Wow.
Weird, huh?
I got to read that book.
Every book I'm reading it, Stuart Wilde, Infinite Self, 33 Steps to Reclaiming Your Inner Power. And I'm reading it every day thinking, I need to just share this on the show. Like every page is just full of just awesome, amazing stuff.
Wow.
You know?
That's when you know you're reading the right book.
I wanted to read some stuff about meditation, but I can't find it. It was really good about becoming quiet and stuff. Really good. I'm so glad you did that, though, this morning, and you took the time to do that.
Crazy morning.
Are you going to do that every day?
I am.
Are you?
Yep.
That's awesome.
I'm going to call it my walks with God.
And I love what he was talking about there, too.
Or my goat walk.
Your goat walk.
My Mike Adams goat walk.
Mike Adams goat walk. That's
For those
hilarious.
of you who don't know what that is, listen to the Mike Adams interview. But at the beginning, he talks about how he starts his morning, or I don't even know if he starts his morning. I think it's midday. He goes out on a trail with his goats. And I thought, that inspired me, though, to start what I call goat walking now. I mean, and I went down there.
Walk.
Walks with God is a little heavy, so I'm going to call it my goat walk.
Your goat walk. I love that. Oh, my goodness. All right, let's take a little break. You can eat some ice cream.
I can't wait.
And we'll be right back. I wanted to tell you about this really powerful and unique product called the Q Laser. Did you know there's over 2,500 peer-reviewed clinical research studies showing the benefits of low-level laser therapy on the body? We had Dr. Larry Lytle on episode 165 talking all about it. Dr. Lytle, what is the Q Laser?
The Q Laser is a light-delivering device, handheld, rechargeable, that is for lay people and professionals, that works at the cell level of the body to restore energy. Since the body is all composed of cells and the cells are composed of atoms, it's good for any and everything in the body. It is especially beneficial for injuries. It will reduce swelling and inflammation before your eyes. Literally, you can have a sprained ankle and fly the laser, and within 30 minutes you can see that the swelling in the ankle has been reduced. Since all disease is inflammatory, you can assume that same process is working if you have some type of intestinal problem. We have pictures of using a heat instrument to diagnose the intestinal inflammation. We can show that intestinal inflammation is pretty much gone within 3 minutes using the Q1000 laser. It's the number one tool in your medicine cabinet. I have a saying, never leave home without your laser. I have had 3 serious burns, and each time I had my laser with me, I applied the laser immediately after I had the burn. I never even blistered.
Kate and I don't want to be without ours. We've worked out a special deal with Dr. Lytle for all of our listeners. If you'd like to learn more about how the Q laser can dramatically improve your health, go to extremehealthradio.com/laser. Feel younger and feel healthier. Harness the power of the sea through S&C, delivering you whole body wellness. S&C supplements are specifically formulated using active sea-based minerals at levels that correspond directly to the nutritional makeup of the human body. The unique and original S&C product line is enhanced by the legendary Dr. Ron Kusan's proprietary processing technology, increasing the efficiency and speed of nutrient delivery into our system. Achieve optimal hydration and mineral balance, decalcify the body to provide rapid relief from chronic diseases and ailments like inflammation and digestive dysfunctions. SNC is a life-restoring solution to ensure optimal health and wellness. Visit extremehealthradio.com/C, SEA today and discover the secret to eternal youth. If you enter the coupon code JUSTIN, JUSTIN, you'll get a 20% discount on all orders for a limited time. So why wait to be well? Go to extremehealthradio.com/C.
All free shows, all the time on Extreme Health Radio. Opening minds and transforming lives worldwide. Join our community today. Sign up to our email list and instantly get our free gift to you, along with loads of inspirational content and cutting-edge tips to help change your life at extremehealthradio.com/subscribe.
My goodness, got so much to talk about. Always stuff to talk about.
Always. But everybody made it through the break safely without getting kicked or hurt.
Or wheel kicked.
Right. Always a lot to talk about.
So this is episode 300, and I want to encourage you guys, check out our sponsor page. The sponsors are companies that we have selectively picked out. We actually approached them if they wanted to sponsor us because we know that these companies are producing really high quality products and just amazing stuff I've known about these companies for years and years and years, and so I wanted to reach out to them to see if they'd be sponsors. So I highly trust and endorse all the sponsors. We have a sponsors page you can see on the right side of our website, but today Live On Labs and S&C are the sponsors for today's show, so check them out. I think you're really going to love especially the Live On Labs and the vitamin C or the S&C stuff. They're just so good. It's just
we take them both. We really do. And I believe it really adds to our health protocol.
Yeah, vitamin C, lipospheric vitamin C, and then the all the amazing products Dr. Ron Kusan put together. Just amazing stuff. Anyway, I wanted to tell people about my experience at the doctor's office recently.
You went to the doctor? Justin went to the doctor.
I went to a doctor.
You're not going to hear that very often.
No, I was actually going with my dad because who you heard at the beginning of the show saying this is KEHR, 50,000 watt.
Your dad's so funny.
But he has a little bit of muscle deterioration around his shoulder blades and some weight loss. And so they were wanting to go and find out what it is, what's going on.
He can't put on any weight, huh?
No, he's having a hard time putting on weight and stuff. And so, they're just trying to figure out. And it was so interesting. It was just the whole experience from walking into the hospital or to the doctor's building, walking in and seeing people. It was just so, I can't even describe. I was walking thinking, oh my gosh, if I could convey what I'm seeing and experiencing to our listeners, it would just, I'm sure people see it all the time, but so I walk up and there's people on their lunch break, right? So all these
you
people
mean that work there?
People who work there, so they got their scrubs on or whatever. But it's not a hospital, so I don't know why they're wearing that. But
they
anyway,
all do.
I could tell that they work there because they're wearing those outfits. Sitting, like one lady was sitting there smoking. She was on her cell phone, like scrolling through. I don't know what she was doing on her cell phone, smoking. And next to her was like this can of Coke. And she was way overweight. And I'm just thinking to myself, this is not a place of wellness. This isn't a place that
is vibrant health.
You're not going to find answers here. You're just not. It was just, and so I saw a couple people like that walking in, that were, people on their break, and so they're getting radiation from their cell phone. They're smoking a cigarette and they're drinking a Coke.
It's so unreal.
And you're going to this place to essentially get well. It's just, what is that?
Well, they're trying to help others get well, and that's what's even scarier.
And they don't even understand what wellness is. There's no. It's so crazy. So I see this. I'm just inside. I'm trying not to judge, right? I'm trying not to say anything. I'm just trying to be like a dog. I'm just trying to my first thought
have
is
no attachment.
Yeah, no judgments about anything. And I'm thinking to myself, my first thought is, I got to tell this story on our show, which I'm doing now. But it was like. And then I started thinking, oh my gosh, these people don't know anything about health. They don't know anything about how to take care of themselves. And you never know. That person could end up living to be 150. But still, it's just really disturbing. So then I tried to, no judgment, just walk in. And then.
Because your dad kind of wanted you to go to be there. Like, you didn't volunteer to go, I don't think.
Yeah, he wanted me to go. And
be a second set of ears.
Yeah, exactly. And so we wait. And so we finally see the doctor. And he's this big guy, really overweight, and he's sitting there with. So we go into his office, and it's just a funny feeling. Like, you get this. He's like, "Hey, come into my office. I want to talk in there." And you think, he's got the stethoscope around his neck, and it's just this weird perceived authority that it's just like it makes you feel creepy. It's like. This person's not here. And so I'm thinking, oh my gosh, is he going to give us bad news or what, And so we go into his office, and he's got prescription medication bottles, like, those orange plastic pill bottles with the white lids that snap on. He's got a bunch of those on his desk. He's got a can of Coke on his desk.
He had a can of Coke?
Yeah, he's got he's a big, big guy, really overweight. His cell phone was right on his, in his shirt pocket, right over his heart. His iPhone or whatever it was. And here he is talking to us and explaining basically that we're not sure what's going on here. We're not really understanding, we don't know what it is. We can't give you a diagnosis. It seems to be like there's a damage to the nerves that are causing blood flow and to bring nutrition to the muscle. So the nerves are sort of shutting down so that they're not firing, and bringing oxygen and whatever to the muscle, but we're not sure if it's even that. It could be these other things, but we're not sure yet. Your blood test seems to indicate, my dad has had a lot of blood tests, different situations going up and down. Like if it stayed at this level, it could be this, but since it went down last time, then it's definitely not that. But so it's all this like
convoluted,
basically just wait and keep testing. And my dad said, is there anything I can do to prevent it, or stop what's going on? Is it going to get worse? Well, we don't know if it's going to get worse. It might not. We don't know of anything to prevent it because we don't know what it is, really, essentially. And so it didn't take more than, for me, 2 minutes to figure out this guy just does not know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
There's a lot of words being said here and a lot of ways in which he uses those words to hide behind the fact that he doesn't know what he's talking about. But we just let him go on and on and on. And he's talking, and we don't know what it is or what causes it or what to do. Even if we did know what it was, if it was these three things, there's no real cure for it. We don't know. And so my dad's like, well, can diet, if I ate more food or if I was able to absorb nutrients better, is there a problem absorbing nutrients or...
Did he say anything about exercise?
Yeah, and my dad said, what about lifting weights, And so he kind of asked both these questions at the same time. Doctor goes, no, it's not, has nothing to do with diet because, he gave all these things, reasons why it has nothing to do with diet. And lifting weights wouldn't do any good because X, Y, Z. And I just was thinking there, okay, first of all...
Where do I even start?
Where do I start? First of all, you've had probably about 4 hours of nutritional training in your whole life. So you don't know, you're out of your league when it comes to that. I'm not saying that I'm any superior to him. He may know more than I do, but I'm just saying that the average doctor, especially someone at his age back then, the average time that they had taking nutritional information was elective, and it was at the most 4 hours.
Wow. It was elective even?
Yeah, it was elective. Like, they didn't have to take it.
Oh.
And so, and I could tell by the way he looked and where his cell phone was and the prescription medication that was on and how unhealthy he looked and how pale he looked.
Not the picture of health.
He doesn't know anything about diet. If he did, he wouldn't look the way he did. And so I'm thinking, okay, it's funny that all that's going on. But at the same time, I thought it was really strange. You have no idea what it is, where it comes from, how to treat it, what it's called, any diagnosis, don't know what causes it. But yet you do know, somehow you don't know any of that. But on the flip side, if you don't know any of that, how do you know that diet wouldn't affect things? Or exercise? It's so weird.
He was so sure.
Yeah.
So sure of that part.
He was adamant. No, diet is not going to affect. You can try all the diet stuff you want. You can eat as much as you want. You can absorb more. Your blood test says that you're absorbing all the nutrients, like your levels of this and that are good in your blood. And I'm just thinking, well, these are conventional blood tests. These guys, they don't know optimum levels. They're just looking at a medical lab thing.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was so interesting. And then we were walking around, and people, I saw all these old people with hunched over backs, and I thought, man, I feel so sad for these people. Here they are at the end of their lives, coming to a place like this to get some doctor to tell them, give them a diagnosis or do something. I just thought, here's a life of someone who never took care of themselves. They just let their house get dirty their whole life, never picked up after themselves in terms of how they treat their own body. And then at the end of their life, they're coming to see if they can get on some medication or get some pill to make them feel better. I just felt so sad for these people, like these
just
people.
Makes your heart sink, huh?
Yeah, I guess that's part of being an empath. I just thought,
oh, interesting.
And then I just thought, what? This is just motivation, because if we're not willing to do the work now, it's like washing your car, picking up your house. If you don't do it on an ongoing basis, you're going to end up live on TV. You're going to have a camera crew coming in your home, and you're going to be on the Hoarder Show. You know what I mean? And so if we don't do it now, we can't wait until later on in life to start taking care of ourselves. You can't give all your power into the hands of some doctor, especially a medical doctor who most likely is not trained in nutrition, energetic medicine, and things. And I just thought, I felt so bad for these people. And then on the flip side, I was walking out thinking, I love being part of a community of listeners in the Extreme Health Radio tribe that likes to listen to this kind of stuff, because we're interested in preventative lifestyle and preventative being, living in a way that undermines all that. You need to, at 70, 80, 90 years old, you could be thriving and living a great life and out there contributing to the world and engaging in life-changing conversations with people and inspiring people and having hobbies and going out and doing activities that are fun.
Yeah.
You don't have to be...
Because I was going to say, even if they're not at that age inspiring people or changing people's lives, they could be like those people we talked to on the beach that we're going to kick out of our dream house.
Yeah.
You could just even be like that. You could just be enjoying your life and have a great positive attitude. And that's worth life in itself. Even if you're not a world changer, that's okay. But just the fact that you're really soaking in life to its fullest and you're truly living.
Yeah.
Prevention's where it's at, man.
I know. I just felt so bad for them, but yet so good for people like us and in our community here of listeners of Extreme Health Radio. If you're listening to this, you're into not just living for living's sake, but living so that you could do what you're supposed to be here to do.
Yep. You can live fully.
You can live fully and live a full, rich life all the days of your life and die happy and die in your sleep. And that type of thing, and so, we talked about afterwards, my parents and I were talking, and they were saying, what do you think about all this, blah, blah, blah. And I just said, it's going to take an entire revamp of your whole life. You have to start investing money because they're on a fixed income, because my dad's retired and they don't have, everything seems to be going up.
Yeah.
But their income.
Right.
And so I said, you have to start start setting some money away and go to a naturopathic doctor. There's a great one that we go to in Encinitas, and and just go to a naturopathic doctor. Go to someone who's going to give you some hope. Go to someone who's going to tell you things that are empowering and not disempowering. And start saving money for things like the sauna or the rebounder. I told him, I said, you guys got to be doing weekly enemas. It's so important.
Your dad's kind of gung ho.
Yeah, so we're going to teach him how to do that.
He'll do it, won't he?
Yeah, he'll do it. So that was my experience at the doctor. I just
and you're like, that is why I try to stay out of these doctors' offices.
Yeah, you got to really work hard because, like you're saying with your beach walk, I mean, what life-affirming activities? It doesn't have to be exercises.
No.
Or food.
No.
But what life-affirming activities are you doing every day? What activities are you doing every day that affirms to life and to God that, hey, I want to be here, I'm worth it, I've got something to offer the world, and I'm here for a purpose? Like, by doing those activities, you're saying to God, the universe, whatever, life, that, hey, it's like someone, if you're on a basketball court and you're playing basketball, the coach has 5 players he can put on the court at one time. Can't put on 6, only 5. By putting on a certain 5 players, every person has a purpose of why they're supposed to be out there, right? And if someone's not, if they're just lollygagging, not running up and down the court, they're not doing their job, they're not hustling, they're not playing hard, the coach is going to take them out.
Yeah, and replace you.
Yeah, and there's someone else who could do that job better than you. And so when we do life-affirming things like Qigong, I feel like is that, meditation, or just trying to think positive, investing in yourself, sitting in a sauna, making green juice or something. When we're doing things like that, we're saying it's like being on the court and hustling when you don't have to. Like the ball's kind of going out of bounds. There's no humanly way possible you can get it, but you run as fast as you can across the court to try to save it. Yeah. Because you might.
Yeah.
But all that's doing is just telling to the coach,
keep me in, put me in, I'm worth it.
I'm worth it. Like, if you keep me in here, I'm going to make this team better. I'm going to win this game, and I'm going to do these things to make it better for you and to make this world a better place. So it's I can't save the ball, but I'm going to try. And so the coach is going to keep players in the game that want to try. You know what I mean?
Gosh, that's funny. It reminds me of growing up. My dad would take me on little dates, like just he and I, and in the car, in his old Honda. I remember the way it smells. We ended up with that car. It just smelled like my dad. I loved it.
Which car was it?
The gray Honda that he gave us. That was like 1984.
Oh yeah.
It has since died, but I think we turned it in for money parts, didn't we? Because it was like wouldn't pass smog or something. Yeah. But anyway, he would take me, and I remember he always played John Fogerty.
Oh, really?
In the car on a cassette tape. And there was that song called Put Me in, Coach. Have you ever heard that song?
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, I'm ready to play today. And he's all, look at me. I can be center field. Like, and I'm thinking, well, maybe that was a life. Maybe that's what he was talking about in the song. I don't know. But it's like, hey, here I am. I'm here ready to play life. I can be the center. I can play like, take me. I can play whatever position. I want to play the best position. I'm going to play hard. I'm going to hustle, like you said, like put me out there. But it's just funny when you were talking about that song came up in my mind, and here I am with that imprinted and ingrained into my little 6-year-old brain, and maybe I was missing the whole point of the song. I don't know.
Yeah, I bet you anything that's what the song's really about.
Interesting, right?
Yeah, because why would he sing a song about baseball? Unless, maybe he wrote it for financial purposes, knowing that it would be a popular baseball song or something, but
it's like a life song.
Yeah, because think about it. It's like with you when you do hair. If someone cancels their appointment, you don't just lose their money. You lose money from people that could have been in your chair because they weren't there.
Completely.
So it's a double loss. In the same way with life, or in this analogy of playing sports, like the coach can only put in a certain amount of players. The earth can only hold 6 billion people right now. What's your purpose, Why are you here? What if you're doing life affirming practices, you're saying you're hustling, trying to get that ball out of bounds. You're saying to God, "Hey, leave me here. I've got something to share. I want to make this world a better place." You know what I mean? And so that's what I thought was cool about that. You taking that walk this morning.
Yeah, well, thank you.
You know,
your book that you read from Stuart Wilde reaffirmed to me that stuff is important to, especially when it comes to sleep and being adrenal fatigued and tired. It's like, I feel like I need that more than anything. But once you get up, you realize that is just as important. As long as I have enough sleep and I'm not being like I didn't need to oversleep.
Right.
I needed that more than anything. And I'm so glad that I started my day that way. It set the tone for the whole week,
Yeah, I want to ask you.
It was wonderful.
I want to ask you about your sulfur experience.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you've been quite the investigatory journalist, if I can steal that phrase from Zoolander.
Zoolander, investigatory journalist.
Investigatory journalist. So you found some interesting things lately that sort of went back to a guy that we saw named Andy from, what was the...
Marble
Falls.
Health store?
I think it was some generic... Hill Country
Health?
Yeah, I think it was Hill Country.
Shoot. Can you look that up?
Yeah, let me just look that up. We'll put a link to it, too.
Yeah, so last March when we were in Austin, we went out to see Dr. Nunley, our dentist. Dr. Stuart Nunley is amazing. And after we were recovering from our root canal tooth being pulled, we happened upon randomly a health food store. We've told this story on another thing, but we were going to get bottled water. Do you remember that? Spring water?
I do.
And we didn't want it from the grocery store, so we thought, this health food store will have a better option. Well, it turned out they didn't have any water, but instead...
Something better.
Is
there anything better than water, though?
No.
It's one of the things you need to live. So
oh my gosh, maybe not. I love water.
Yeah.
Water is the essence of life.
Essence.
Is that another Zoolander?
What is it?
Water.
Moisture is the essence of wetness.
Something
Aveda.
Stupid. Aveda.
Moisture is the essence
that
of
movie.
wetness.
Moisture is the essence of wetness. It's something that's stupid.
I love that.
Oh, it's a great movie. Anyway, we happened upon the wife of Andy. I forget her name. She was so nice.
Oh, yes.
Do you remember her name?
That's right. He wasn't in, was he?
He wasn't in, but she said, "Hey, my husband will be back. If you're interested in any kind of like a health consult, he's a nutritionist. He does muscle testing." And I had done muscle testing before and thought, I've already done that. But something about that just called out to me, and I thought, for $100 or $90, whatever affordable it was, he spends an hour and a half with you. And I thought, anything that can add to my health experience right now. So we woke up early again the next morning because it was really important before we headed out of town that day.
Yeah.
Because we went to the airport, I think, that night. So it was like a last minute thing. And we showed up and had an hour and a half. And he spent I think he spent close to 2 hours before we went on the Rife machine. That was just awesome. And
we were there almost all day.
We were there like almost all day. It was forever.
Long time.
It was awesome. But he did a lot of muscle testing on me and went through these things that, on a chart and a sheet he mapped out for me and said, this is probably your best sort of plan to follow if you want to get rid of some of your, symptoms and all the stuff. Well, I forgot, but at the time he told me that I was very reactive to foods containing sulfur. And
that was interesting.
At the time I said, well, what the heck is sulfur? I'm like thinking sulfate, is it wine? Like, what is it that I'm eating that is high in sulfur? Well, stupid me. Like, I never came home and really thought about it much more and, did a lot of the supplements and things like that and was starting to feel better along with the help of people out here and some other testing I had done.
Yeah.
Well, I really realized in the last year or so that garlic and onions are a really bad thing for me. Like, I've had to basically cut them out almost completely.
Which is why you had to stop the parasite cleanse because it contained a lot of garlic.
Well, exactly. So I was doing Marcus Rothkranz's, is it called Parasite?
Super awesome cleanse.
It's awesome. But I was having a pretty bad reaction to it because like my low back and my kidneys started hurting. It was too much for me to handle. So I emailed Dr. Kelly, my naturopath in Encinitas, Dr. Kim Kelly. He's awesome. And he ran a bunch of tests and was doing a bunch of stuff. Well, anyway, he said for the parasite cleanse, because your body and your kidney function is a little bit low right now, it's too much. We need to do something to kind of boost up the kidneys before you can resume that. So you could do this instead. And he sent me 2 links to a garlic and an oregano that he said would just as probably heal my amoeba infection that I've had. So I wrote back to him. I thought about it for a couple of days, and I said, gosh, like, I just know I don't do well with garlic, but if that's what's going to kill this thing, but I don't know. So I emailed Dr. Kelly and said, I'm not sure about the garlic. I'm not sure. And it doesn't seem to do well. And he wrote me back yesterday or the day before saying, hold on, let me bring this up. Should have had this up.
Huh?
Yeah, he said you might want to do something else, as what you're probably going through is called I might be an undermethylator.
Undermethylator.
Yeah, it might be that you're an undermethylator, as this is typical. People who don't tolerate sulfur foods well, in parentheses, he added that in. So I looked up, they kind of put it all together. I'm like, what? So I looked up sulfur, and let me tell you, that's been a rabbit trail the last couple days.
Yeah, I'm doing dishes. We're doing stuff. Kate comes in. Hey, I got to tell you about theanine or something.
Thiol.
Thiol.
I'm all excited about thiols all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But what I have found is this website that we could put a link to, livingnetwork.co.za. What's ZA?
South Africa.
South Africa?
We'll put links to all this stuff too.
Yeah, because this is pretty amazing. And this is just one, but... excuse me. My adrenals. Just kidding.
My adrenals are making me yawn.
Totally. So what happens, it says in his excellent book, Amalgam Illness, Diagnosis and Treatment, Andy Cutler informs us that many mercury-toxic people are intolerant to certain foods, commonly known as sulfur foods, which have a high free thiol content. Consuming foods high in thiols raises the circulating thiol levels, which in turn mobilizes mercury and creates symptoms. He notes, you typically get a couple hours of feeling good, energized, happy, then you feel tired, draggy, and depressed, which can go on for a day to a week. Of course, if you are eating sulfur foods at each meal, all these get stacked up, and you can never figure out what in the heck is happening. It doesn't say what in the heck, but it says what is happening. The onset of reaction of symptoms is fairly prompt, with the tired, icky, depressed part starting within a few hours. That can last for 4 to 7 days. You might even enjoy eating these foods and believe they do you no harm, but their reactions can cause you a lot of undue suffering. And it talks about how you can have these, what is the word I'm looking for? Basically non-specific ailments. And so the more I read, I'm reading all these things on these sulfur foods, and then they bring up the list, and I'm like, oh my goodness.
Really? Oh,
Lordy.
Sweet sassy molasses.
This is what I really think Andy was right at the health food store with my muscle testing about the sulfurs, and then to have Dr. Kelly say, hey, you're probably having this reaction because you're undermethylating.
It's funny because we the muscle testing seems like tapping, right? It seems
I know,
like
and
such
you're like, this can't be
airy,
that.
fairy, woo-woo thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I seriously, I don't like believing in that stuff, but I do.
I know.
And it's so weird. It's like I'm skeptical of it, but...
It seems to prove itself true over and over and over and over.
Because everything he was saying, he wrote this whole list on you.
About me being high in this and low in progesterone and DHEA and cortisol was this.
About 90% of what he marked off on that list corresponded. There were a few things that were different, but the majority of everything corresponded to exactly to the stuff that you did with Dr. Kelly.
And you know what's funny, though? If he did it today, this was 5 months ago, it could be spot on.
Yeah.
I'm sure my body's changed in its hormones levels and things, but even that was 90% accurate.
Yeah.
But yeah, this whole...
So people that are sensitive to, I guess there's ways to test if you're sensitive to sulfur. But the thing that I can't figure out, we talked about this yesterday, is sulfur, from what I understand, it increases, it's one of the most amazing substances because not only is it great for skin, nails, your hair, and eyesight, and all these amazing things, but it helps to deliver oxygen. From how I understand it, I could be wrong. If you're a naturopathic doctor or nutritionist and listening to this, maybe I'm wrong, but the way I understand it is it helps to deliver oxygen to
the cell,
the inside of the cell. Yeah, that penetrates the membrane, I guess, and so that's why and when you do that, the cell gets nutrients, it gets oxygen, and if the cells have oxygen and nutrients, they work really well, so you can start detoxing. And people report having amazing dreams when they take lots of this good kind of like MSM sulfur, that's real sulfur. And they amazing dreams and all these detoxification effects and these incredible, great things in the body. So it's weird that.
Well, it goes on to say, though, in this paragraph that it's not foods that are, quote, high in sulfur. Some things that are like naturally occurring sulfurs are fine, but it's this food. It says sulfur food intolerance in mercury toxic people has more to do with the mobilization of mercury caused by raised cysteine levels and excess thiols rather than a direct allergy or intolerance to the sulfur foods per se. So it's basically things that are high, foods that are high in thiols or thiols, THIOLS, are worse than just like taking something with a high sulfur. That might be okay because it's a naturally occurring sulfur.
Because if you were to take MSM, I guess there wouldn't be any of those thiols in MSM because it's all it is 100% sulfur.
It warns you there are certain things like supplements to kind of watch out for, and MSM could be one of them, but I'm sure it's like what you're adding in and then what you're getting on a daily basis that you don't know is causing the mercury toxicity problem to just keep staying in your body probably.
Wow.
Yeah,
so
I don't know.
This is a rabbit trail for you.
Yeah, and it's like, here we go, everything that, like...
So what are some of the foods to not eat?
Well, here you go.
Ones,
so things that I thought were even fine, you know?
Some to eat.
Yeah, okay, so not things that are high in thiols that you want to stay away from. Certain kinds of artichokes, they give a list. Asparagus, bakery products containing whey, eggs, or enzymes.
Eggs, I could see definitely.
Excuse me.
Eggs.
Bean sprouts, beans of all sorts, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, buckwheat, cabbage, carob, cauliflower, cheese of all sorts, chives, chocolate, coffee, collard greens, cream, dairy products, eggs, garlic, green beans, greens, it just says greens.
Jeez.
Kale, leeks, lentils of all sorts, milk from any animal, onions, peas, peanuts, pineapple, radishes, rutabaga, sauerkraut, sour cream, soy cheese, soy milk, spinach, split peas, tempeh, tofu, turnip, turmeric, quinoa, whey, and yeast extract.
Maybe that's why you've been doing so bad with quinoa. Have you been doing bad with it?
I mean, I do better with quinoa than any other kind of like carb like that. But even that, like, you know,
you don't feel great.
I don't feel great, and the whey is a little concerning to me because we do the One World Whey, the raw grass fed stuff, and I seem to do really well on it. I don't know. I wish they made a distinction between grass-fed, high-quality whey instead of the processed whey you're getting at the grocery store.
Yeah.
And is that considered like a dairy product? You know, because it is, but it doesn't have the casein or the lactose or any of that stuff.
So you wonder,
I'm confused.
And then also at the end of that list, I think it says cheese or not to eat cheese and whey and milk and stuff like that. But then butter's in there as something that's good.
So then you jump down to the list. That's good. It gives you supplements that are high in these thiols, and there also are supplements to take if you actually want to support the sulfur pathways, which is, how do you say it again? Molybdenum. That can support the sulfur pathways. And you want to convert some glutathione and glutamine, so that goes into that. Anyway, so what you can eat, there's a lot, but I'm like, I'll just read the ones that I'd be interested in because I'm not going to eat abalone.
Yeah.
But you can eat acorn squash, almond milk, French artichokes, avocado, bacon, barley, beef liver, beets, butter, which is weird, butternut squash, cantaloupe, carrots, celery, dark chicken meat and chicken liver, cinnamon, clams, coconuts, dried or fresh, coriander, which is cilantro, dates. I was happy about that because I love me some dates. Fermented and dried fish. I'm not sure. Figs, game meat, game hen, gelatin, ginger root, which is fresh, grapefruit juice, halibut, guava, ham, but I don't eat that. Goes on and on and on. Lemons, lettuce. See, lettuce, but the other one said no greens.
Yeah, what does that mean?
I don't know.
That's so confusing.
Limes. So there's things I'm just not sure, you know? But, I was very happy that sweet potatoes were on the good list, along with salmon and salt, because salt really helps the... I'm doing a shot of salt, Himalayan sea salt every morning in water.
Oh, you are?
To get the adrenals going.
That's really good for the adrenals.
It's really good.
Do you ever do that before you go in the sauna?
I started just a couple days ago.
Yeah, I do a little bit of salt.
You can retain your water a little bit.
Yeah, and electrolytes and minerals.
Electrolytes.
Prevent cramping and things.
So yeah, I mean, this is what. So I'm going to be on a new plan.
So you're going to go a non-sulfur diet.
I am going to do a non-sulfur diet, and I'm
non-thiols thiol diet.
Low thiol diet.
Wow.
Who knew?
That could be like the South Beach diet. It
The
would sell
low
like
thiol
hotcakes.
diet.
The low thiol diet. People would be like, what the heck are you talking about?
And I'm like, this is very interesting because now it's like no non-dairy, non-grain. I don't eat grains, dairy. Now sulfur. I'm trying to think of what else I don't eat. Sugar. Like, what the heck am I supposed to eat?
You got to go breatharian.
Dude, that's where I'm going. God's slowly weeding me out of the
God's slowly
the food
saying,
chain.
God, you got to get your minerals from the sunlight.
Maybe my beach walk, the next one, he'll tell me that.
Oh, my goodness.
Just start breathing. Just live off your breath.
Yeah, so it's this methylation that's a factor. And I think if you listen to our show, I think we've done 2 shows with, I would recommend listening to Robert von Sarbacher's show, where he talks about the mini beat protocol. Mini beat. Are we still recording?
I don't know. Are we?
Wow, my monitor just completely
went down.
It went black, and I think we needed.
Are we still on?
Monitor. Yeah.
Okay.
The mini beat protocol. Sorry about that, everybody. I was just doing, just sitting here, and the whole screen went black. The mini beat protocol, and then listen to our show with Dr. Bob Marshall, because he talks a lot about methylation and biofilms, and I think that if you get rid of the biofilms, you allow your body to methylate better.
I'm a little methylator.
Yeah, and by doing that, you can allow your body to detoxify, because the methylation, and apparently beets, if you juice beets, you got to be really careful with beets, though, because they are so powerful, such an incredibly powerful food, and you'll detoxify really quickly. But in that respect, it's a really powerful food to do, and beets apparently help you methylate. Which is cool.
I'm really thinking, because beets are on the list of good stuff for you.
Good stuff, yeah.
I'm feeling like this really started with my root canal tooth I had 8, 9, 10 years ago. 10 years ago, probably.
I just realized.
What?
I looked below the desk here, and I think Maggie laid on a wire.
Oh, because she's laying on all the cords, which is not good.
Which is not good. She needs to be on the biomat, but I think that's why my computer went black for a second.
Okay, well, there you go.
Yes.
She's getting you back for the roundhouse kick to the face. She's taking matters into her own doggy paws.
Yeah.
I think it started with my root canal tooth and getting my mercury amalgams taken out the wrong way. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure I have mercury poisoning.
You probably got. We're going to be doing a
hair analysis.
Yep, soon, right?
This next week.
You probably got some sort of, because you got your root canals taken out in Mexico.
Yeah.
Before we.
Not like there's any problem with Mexico, but
no.
He was a great dentist, but just didn't do it the way Dr. Nunley would have done it, where you're really protected from. Oh gosh, being exposed to these horrible chemicals.
What does our friend say? What does Oprah say?
When you know better, you do better. I didn't know.
So before we knew any better, that's what we did, and so you probably got
That's what we could afford.
A couple atoms or a couple molecules of mercury in your bloodstream, and because it's funny when you look back at you, all of your seemingly health issues started
right after that.
Yeah, like
I never had problems before. Is it Maggie? Yeah. She did move her head. Did your screen go back on?
Yeah, the screen went black again.
All right.
Yeah, you never had any real health issues before then, did you?
Nope. It really makes me think, so.
Yeah, it's really strange, isn't it?
Interesting stuff.
Interesting stuff. I think that's about a wrap, isn't it?
Ooh, yeah, I'm hungry. I'm going to go eat non-sulfur foods.
I wanted to ask you really quickly, anything going on with Empowered Women's Channel?
Everything's going on with Empowered Women's Channel.
Every day there's new stuff.
I love it.
Yeah?
We are meeting the coolest people, women, doing all kinds of amazing stuff. We have so many podcasts lined up for everybody, as well as articles just waiting. They're just waiting there. We have so many amazing contributors and people adding so much to the site.
We have a lot of writers on there, huh?
A lot of people wanting to write, which is awesome. And for all you out there, any women or men who are interested in writing really great original articles for the Empower Women's Channel, and we could link back to what you do and get your work out to the world. There's a whole section on there where you can look into that. But yeah, like I mentioned on the last free for all, I think we added a book section on books we're reading.
Nice.
And yeah, we're just really excited about what's coming down the turnpike.
So you and Bo are doing a weekly podcast.
Yes, and we have about 20 new people when she comes back into town in the fall that we will be recording, hopefully a few in studio, but a lot over Skype. And
how cool is that?
Just, really interesting information that's coming up from these people. Because the first couple podcasts are she and I kind of just talking and, telling people who we are and kind of what we're about and what we're into. And then it's going to be really neat to start to have more guests in the studio, either via landline or Skype or actually sitting in here with us. But
that's awesome.
Man, there are just some amazing women and men just changing the world, just offering free content and free services to people. Also, some are making a really great living doing what they love and being paid well for it, which is always a good thing. But just these different healing modalities and just full of recipes, not even for people that, we focus a lot on health and the healthy lifestyle, but any woman who just needs to be encouraged, there's a really great one coming that you guys should be looking out for.
An article, you mean?
Yes, by the Goddess Project.
Oh, really?
Ooh, they are good. So be on the lookout for the Goddess Project and what documentary is going to be coming soon.
Oh, they're working on a documentary.
Oh, yeah. You can watch on YouTube. Go to YouTube and check out their documentary trailer. It's going to be awesome for all the women of the world. But
cool.
They've hooked up with us, and we got some neat things coming down the pipe.
Awesome. What a cool thing.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, so if you want to write for Empowered Women's Channel or for Extreme Health Radio, we are available. So you could write into both of our websites if you want to be a contributing author and get exposure to your pages. You can do that to your work. It's a great platform, to get your work out there in the world to an audience that really would love it. So
and we love sharing legit people doing great things. So we're stoked. Send us your stuff.
That's awesome. I want to let everybody know too about a product that we are working on behind the scenes. It's not a product yet, but what we're doing is we're polling all of you guys to see if you guys would be interested in sharing your thoughts about what type of digital product you would be most interested in, because we want to create something that's going to help all you guys, and we don't want to create something that nobody wants. So the product is going to be digital. It's going to include audio, video, and written like an ebook format. And so it's going to include lots of really great stuff, but we want to know what interests you most. So if you go to extremehealthradio.com/poll, P-O-L-L, not Pol Pot, like Pol Pot, the dictator.
I was thinking roly-poly.
Roly-poly.
Either way.
Poll, P-O-L-L. You'll find you can make up to 2 selections and answer a couple questions. It takes you about 15 seconds.
And it makes all the difference to us.
Yeah, it makes. So let us know what you're interested in, because we want to create a really awesome product for you guys and something that we know you guys will love. So we want to make sure that you guys know what to expect. And also, you know what we didn't get to talk about today?
A lot?
A lot, but I wanted to talk. Maybe I'll write a blog post about this and share it on our next Friday show. This whole thing going on with ALS awareness.
Oh, gosh. I'm so glad that you brought up that today, because I didn't know what the heck I've been seeing things all over Facebook and wasn't understanding, and now you shed some new light on it.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that next week. We've got some interesting ideas about what's going on with that. So stay up to date with all of our shows. If you guys want to sign up to our email newsletter list, that would be the best way to stay up to date with our shows, and follow us on Facebook too. Between the two, you're never going to miss a show or never going to miss an episode. And they're at extremehealthradio.com/Facebook or /subscribe. And there's boxes all over our website where you could subscribe to our newsletter if you're interested in doing that. And what you'll get is a free ebook written by John Barron that he was kind enough to let us use and give away to you guys. And it sells for $20 on Amazon. You can buy it.
Or you can get it for free.
Get it for free. We'll send it to you right away, and it's really an awesome thing. And so it talks about all kinds of healthy living practices, how to do enemas, why you should do enemas, how to do what is that called on your belly?
Castor oil
packs. Castor oil packs, yeah, that helps detoxify certain organs. All kinds of just really cutting edge stuff. You get that for free as soon as you sign up. So. And then you'll get a weekly update from us once a week. And then on every Sunday, you're going to get a recap of the previous shows that happened that week. So you never miss anything that we have going on. So make sure to do that if you're interested. And also, don't forget to pass this show on to your friends. If you can, click like on this show page, extremehealthradio.com/300. By passing this show on to your friends, I know it doesn't seem like a big deal to you guys. It doesn't have to be this particular show, too. If you think that any of your friends would be interested in any of the other shows that we've done, please click the like button on that page or the share button and share it on Facebook, because we are so incredibly reliant on you guys. We don't have a marketing department. We don't have people to go out and do this kind of stuff. So we're just really asking you guys, if you can, support us that way. Like us on Facebook and follow us, or share our shows. Another great thing you can do for free that doesn't cost anything is writing us a review on iTunes.
Oh, please, please.
We're trying to get more reviews and ratings in iTunes, and that helps to bring us up in the rankings, I guess. When people search for our type of content on iTunes, it helps to do that. So that's another great free thing. And if you want to do anything on the monetary side, we accept donations.
We gladly accept donations.
Yeah, we really gladly accept donations.
We really could use those. Those are great because the costs are definitely going up here.
Yeah, like we just bought some more software. We just upgraded our servers.
Which is a good thing, but a little bit
scary, right?
A little scary for us.
So we were paying $10 a month. Now we're paying $180 a month. So the costs are continuing to rise for the show. But it's all costs that we're pouring back into it so that we can have a faster website that doesn't crash, to have better security in case something happens to the website. We can back it up easy. So you just got to pay for this kind of stuff. And,
but we cannot do it without you guys. You guys are a huge help. And this has been quite a faith-building time for us, trusting that you guys are going to give and can give when you can and what makes sense, because, I mean, it all works and it's synchronistic and God's working it out, but it definitely tries us at times.
Yeah, it is definitely trying at times.
Yeah, it's not easy.
And so, but if you're unable to do a donation, we also have a store with amazing stuff in there. I just can't recommend these products enough. I recommend them to all my friends and my family. The stuff like the Rebounder, the Live On Labs, the S&C, our sponsors. The laser, the Qigong. I mean, if you go to our store, you're going to see just the best stuff. So
yeah.
Check out our store. You're gonna get lots of videos in there, lots of audio clips about Kate and I talking about how the products affected us and our experience with it, how we use them, and all that.
Check it out.
Check it out.
It's a fun store. We love it.
We love it.
It's like kids in a candy store.
What's that?
It's like kids in a candy store.
Kids in a candy store. All right. So
or a health food store.
That's a wrap, right?
That's a wrap.
All right, everybody. Thanks you so much for joining us live. Make sure to check us out live 4 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 9 a.m. Pacific. On Monday, we're going to be talking about sensory deprivation with Mr. Ron Becker from Newport Float Therapy.
Nice.
And we'll be talking about the sensory deprivation, taking meditation to new levels.
Ooh, we've actually experienced it. So that'll be cool.
Dr. Allison Adams on Wednesday, we'll be talking about mercury detoxification. We'll be talking about building the immune system with Richard Ostro.
Mercury detoxification.
That's right. We'll talk to her on Wednesday.
Good to know.
So check out our show schedule page and check us out live, too, if you guys want to stay up to date. extremehealthradio.com/live at 9 a.m. Pacific on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific.
And
we'll catch you on the next episode.
You did good.
You like that?
Ah.
All right.
Not as good as I did, but that was good.
That's right. All right.
Hey, everybody. This is Josie, Justin's mum. Don't tell him, but I know he would absolutely be really happy if you would sign up to his free weekly newsletter. And don't forget to share this with all your friends. This is the buzzing bumblebee signing off.
Oh, so good.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my.
Thank you for listening to this episode.
It's time to go for now, but our mission does not end with this show.
Justin and Kate will be back with another interview packed full of ideas, discoveries, and unique ways to regain your health.
Head on over to extremehealthradio.com/subscribe and instantly download our free gift too that contains cutting-edge strategies to start making healthy lifestyle changes today.
No material on this blog is intended to suggest that you should not seek professional medical care. Always work with qualified medical professionals, even if you educate yourself in the field of live food, nutrition, and alternative medicine.